Hello, my name is Damon Friedman, co-founder and president of SOF Missions. As a 20-year veteran within Special Operations, I've gone through many challenges due to my military service and time in combat. We felt called to start SOF Missions to serve our fellow brothers and sisters in arms, focusing on suicide prevention and resiliency. Our mission at SOF Missions is to empower warriors to find purpose and be resilient. Since 2011, when we started the organization, almost 3 million men and women have deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan. Unfortunately, the scars of war take a toll on their psychological, physical, social, and spiritual health. Many veterans feel a sense of hopelessness and a loss of purpose when they return to civilian life. They feel isolated and alone, unable to reconnect. And in the greatest of tragedies, over 20 veterans lose all hope and take their own lives. Our goal at SOF Missions is to provide veterans the tools and resources so that they don't become a statistic. We offer a unique approach to combating veteran suicide through a whole health, intradisciplinary model. The Be Resilient program is a 4-pillar methodology that addresses the areas of psychological, physical, social, and spiritual wellness. We provide care through 3 delivery methods: medical clinics, retreats, and educational training. Since we started back in 2011, we have been able to reach veterans in all 50 states and have served over 3,000 veterans through the Be Resilient program. Being resilient is a multifaceted and complex issue. We know that to find a lasting solution, we have to address the whole warrior. Many challenges cannot be solved by providing the treatments and modalities of just one component, but by tackling them all. Now, we've expanded our services to include law enforcement and first responders. Together, we can make a lasting impact in the lives of warriors across the nation. To learn more, visit our website at sofmissions.org.
All right. Welcome back.
Misfit Nation, the MisFitNation Show.
We are a show founded by a veteran and hosted by 2 veterans and a military spouse. Our mission is to get people to tell their stories to the world. If you're an author, share your tips with the Misfit Nation. If you're a musician or an actor, our audience need to know how they too can get into the business. Coaches, we love our coaches. Come on and share your tips with the Misfit Nation to help them become better versions of themselves. If you are a corporate leader or an entrepreneur, come on and show how you did it and how hard you have fought for success. If you are a veteran, first responder, or Gold Star family, we would love to have you come on and share your story with the Misfit Nation. We always have time for you. If you're feeling down, alone, or starting to see the darkness, Stop. Think about those who are around you. You are not alone. You will be missed. If you feel like your problems will be a burden to those in your inner circle or feel embarrassed, dial 988. If you are a veteran, take option 1. We need you to keep pushing forward. Don't make a permanent solution to a temporary problem. If you are a new listener, welcome to the Misfit Nation Show. Be sure to subscribe to our show on your favorite podcast app. Also on our YouTube channel at @the_MisFitNation. Subscribe and click the bell to keep you up to date on our latest episodes and all of our news. You can also find us on Heroes Media Group and About Face Radio. Now, let's get to the show!
All right. Welcome to this special edition of the MisFitNation Show. Today we pause from our usual rhythm to reflect, remember, and honor. 24 years ago on September 11, 2001, our world was shaken. It was a day that tested us, broke us, and in many ways defined us. Each of us remembers exactly where we were when the towers fell, when the Pentagon was struck, and when the brave Americans fought back in the skies over Pennsylvania. We remember the fear, the unity, and resolve that followed. As veterans, as fathers, as Americans, we carry those memories with us. They've shaped who we are, how we lead, how we serve. Tonight, we share our personal reflections of that day, the lessons learned, and where our nation has journeyed since. But I pause. We also come together with heavy hearts for another reason. Just yesterday, our nation was shaken again, this time by the assassination of Charlie Kirk. Regardless of where you stood with him politically, his voice, his passion, and his impact were undeniable. His absence will be felt deeply across this country. Tonight, we remember, we reflect, and we honor not just the lives lost on 9/11, but also the legacy of a man who dedicated his life to shaping America's future. This is about resilience. This is about unity. And this is about carrying forward the torch of freedom. Welcome to the MisFitNation Show.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Tuesday crew on Thursday.
Here tonight.
Good evening, folks.
Howdy.
Thanks for jumping on with me tonight, boys, and volunteering. Not even being voluntold. You volunteered to do this. I like that.
Yeah,
Well,
we'll go with
kind
that.
of had a knife to my neck when you asked. Do you want to do this? Yeah. Here we
Well,
go.
glad to be here. Glad to be here and glad you asked.
So, Steve,
Mhm.
since you're the closest to the World Trade Center when it happened, we'll start with you and your reflections on where you were that day, how it shaped you, and what it meant to you that day.
Well, we'll start with where it shaped me. We grew up in Jersey City, and when you walked out the front porch of our house and you looked up the block, you could see the top of the World Trade Center. We saw it every day. When I was in high school, I wasn't the A student. I was the student that walked out every once in a while. And when I did, I went to the World Trade Center and I went to the top and I checked out the view. I spent a lot of time in that building. The 9/11, when it happened, I was actually sitting. I was not sitting. I was doing laundry in the laundromat. My wife's grandmother had passed and we were getting ready to go to her wake down in South Jersey. And the TV was on. And they showed the one tower burning. And I picked up the phone and I'm dialing, and it took a while to get through. She finally answered. I'm like, "Hun, I think we're going to war." And as I said that, the second building was hit. And it was just like the scariest time. I could walk out of the laundromat and see the smoke in the air. And, they closed the highways and they closed this. And I had to get in the car and drive down the parkway to Central Jersey with nobody on the road, no tolls being paid. All the booths were open. And I was driving down to go to a wake that day, watching New York burn.
Wow.
It took me, no lie, I think it was 11 or 12 years just to be able to visit the site and look at the fountain. And when I did that, I had like a panic attack because I was so used to going there and seeing these two huge buildings and walking around and doing things. It took me, like I said, 11 years to go there because I couldn't even go close to where it was for the longest time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jake, where were you that day?
That was a Tuesday. I was the operations sergeant at the 717th EOD on Fort Campbell. We had left for the field at about 08 Monday morning. Got up on Tuesday. Supply sergeant had breakfast for us. We ate breakfast, and I went out into the middle of training area 20 and was setting up a chemical response incident for the unit. And I'm out there. Of course, I didn't have a cell phone, didn't have a pager, none of that. And we're sitting out there and getting set up. Team had just arrived on site, asking me some questions about, what I found in the woods and stuff, doing their interview with me and everything. And I heard the radio squawk up, and the commander didn't use my call sign or anything. He just, hey, Jake, get that team together and get back to the CP now. I'm like, dang, what in the world has happened? So we get back, and by the time I got back to the CP and everything, the second tower had been hit. But he had one of the pagers that he could get news on since he was the commander, and he told us about it. So we struck camp, loaded everything up, and I don't know what time it was. It must have been time. It was probably about the time that people were coming back onto post after PT, and Fort Campbell was locked down. We couldn't get through any of the gates. It took us like 3.5, 4 hours to get back through gate 10. And once we got back on post, we turned TV on in the unit, saw what was happening, and battalion called up, told us to go into 24-hour operations just in case anything went on. So we spent the next week there at the shop. And so that's kind of how my day went that day. And what's weird is me and my brothers and sisters, we used to watch TV all the time. It became like a quiz. You know, you'd see a TV show or something, and we would identify cities by their skyline. And New York still screws me up because they're not there. That was the defining skyline of New York. You saw that, you knew it was New York City, and now you don't. That landmark is not there, and it makes it kind of weird.
It sure
And
does.
and that's one of the things that still bothers me, because they only put one tower back up. They should have put two. They should have put three, just to prove. Go higher, just to prove this is what we are. We're going to rebuild. We're going to keep going.
Yes,
Yeah.
And also I'm going to add, I had a cousin. He worked for the Navy, who was at the Pentagon when this all went down. So it was about a day before we heard from him, but he was okay. Everything was cool. Everything was cool. So he was good to go.
And Richard, where were you that day?
Well, as you know, I was stationed at Fort Riley, Kansas at that time, 2001. And you had just come to visit us, and we went on a canoe trip with you, with my platoon. Went down the river there in Fort Riley. And we then deployed to Kuwait to be the operation, the Southern Watch thing that we do. You rotate over there. This was my platoon then. We were hanging out there on a BMP. That was a couple days before 9/11. We're in Kuwait, just basically being peacekeepers, being a deterrence. 9/11, we went out. We were on little maneuvers close to the Iraqi border. And we get the call, ThreatCon Delta, come back to the Cabal. We're like, what the hell does that mean? What's going on? So we turn, we beat feet back. We come in the gate, and people, they're actually checking us. We come in, and our lieutenant tells us the World Trade Center's been hit by airplanes. So my immediate response, knowing that that's what we could see outside of our house, stop playing, sir. Stop messing around. That's not a good joke, because he was a jokester. It's not a good joke, sir. Then I sent Sergeant Philip Leisure. I say, hey, go to the CNN tent and check out what's on there before I get in trouble. So he went, and he seen on the news there that what was happening. I think by that time the first tower was falling. He came in and told me, hey, it's for real. And we went on the switch. We went from peacekeeping to now we're the furthest deployed soldiers. We're the most forward deployed people. We went from basically just having a fun Operation Southern Watch deployment to now we don't have ice cream anymore, and we're getting ammunition. So things change rapidly. You go from easy to hard. And at that time, just like Jake with no cell phones in the field, we didn't have that great communications you have now. You couldn't just reach back and say, hey, is everyone all right? So no one could reach back. No one can get in touch with us. It was the weeks before we can actually talk to anybody to know what was going on. But our minds had to stay focused ahead of us. So our whole world changed in an instant, just like the whole world did. But ours, I think we were more into it like that fishbowl because we were in Kuwait when it happened. And then we get to see Fifth Group and everyone else start to come there and stage and go to Afghanistan while we were there. So it was a major mindset switch for us as we went through that portion of our deployment to realize that our whole world had just changed without us even being home.
And it was a big change. Like within an hour, Fort Campbell's locked down. There's Humvees with 50 cals spaced out all around the perimeter. Little birds are flying. And I think somebody asked me, how many little birds do they have up flying? My answer, all of them. And yeah, they were flying racetracks around Fort Campbell. And, I don't know how many incidents we got called to the gate. They checked people's trunks thinking that they were finding, car bombs, explosive materials, stuff like that. And, we didn't find anything, which was a good thing. But, yeah, they were on super, super high alert.
That had to be hell for you guys to be constantly on call like that. Like I was sitting with my father today, and he brought up the day, and he was telling me how they told him to leave work because they were closing everything down. He goes to pick up my mother, who worked at a hospital. She was a nursing aide at the time, and they were at the doors with stretchers standing there waiting for victims that never came.
Yeah.
They were because they were in Jersey. They were literally a footstep away from the damn buildings. They figured they would get the rush. There was no rush.
And if there would have been more, they probably would, because I know that they have a big mass casualty plan for that area, and what they can't handle in the city, they're gonna bleed over to New York, or excuse me, to New Jersey.
Yeah. And he said, the trip that normally took a half hour from Jersey City back to Bloomfield took them over 2 hours. And while they're driving, was it the Whitpen Bridge, Rich? The drawbridge? What was that called?
I think it's the Whitpen Bridge, the one that made the noise.
He's driving over it, coming home to us, and there was literally hundreds of people walking over the bridge back to Jersey City because all transportation was shut down. They were trying to get home. So he's in a car, and there's crowds of people walking over this drawbridge, which you never see, because transportation was shut down. They couldn't get home. They couldn't get to their families, and they were trying to get back home. It was the most serious thing he's ever seen. Besides,
I was going to say, I mean, that day it was a punch in the face for us, a kick in the teeth for the United States and the whole world, basically Western culture. Things you'd think would speed up, but everything went to slow motion.
Yes.
You had to react in different ways to how to do things. And now I'm no longer just being able to walk to the chow line. I have to account for all my guys, make sure they all have the right ammo, make sure everything's going, and everything slowed down until we did our rotation back. And it was really weird to come home and see the things at the gate, like you were talking about earlier. Now, Fort Riley used to have a highway go right through it. You can't do that no more. It's locked on both ends, and you have to guard those now. So it was crazy to go back to Fort Riley and see that, and then get put on those gates within a month after coming home as duty to check people coming into the gates as a reward for coming home. So it was really wild.
Yeah, it was. Things changed, definitely. It used to be, well, you've been around long enough. If you had that sticker on your windshield, you just drove through the gate. They didn't check an ID. They didn't do anything. And we pulled up. We was in an LNTV. Generally, well, now they've kind of laxed off a little bit. But if you was in a military vehicle, they waved you right through. They stopped us, made everybody in the back of the LNTV hand out their ID cards, checked faces, did all that, and then we went to the unit. And it definitely changed.
And what's weird, and Rich will vouch for it, we grew up, like I said, in Jersey City, and we were right next door to the Path Plaza. So all you heard was trains running all night long. And after a while, you just didn't hear it anymore. 9/11 happened, and the planes hit the towers. I sit between Newark and Teterboro Airport. After that day, every time I heard a low-flying plane, I started to shake, and I had to look to see what was going on. You live in the area, you just blank it out, then all of a sudden it's the loudest noise you hear.
Oh, yeah. We had we had 2 teams out on VIP missions that were like far away, and they had to end up getting rental cars and driving home because they couldn't fly.
Yep. That's fun from a VIP too.
Well, what they did was they flew on the car plane back to Andrews and then got a car in DC and drove back to Fort Camp.
That's a good ride. That's a real good ride. Oof.
Well,
Yeah,
a lot closer than where they were.
yes, definitely. I mean, within an instant, within 2 hours that day, we lost almost 3,000 Americans. In basically 3 plane crashes or 4 plane crashes, 3 hitting targets, 1 missing their target, thanks to the brave Americans on board who followed. I think his name was Bremer, who jumped up and said, "Let's go," and they went and did it. But 2,977 total victims, not counting the Hodges that were on there who did this, and they don't know if you add them, it's almost 3,000 exactly. But that's not counting all the countless who have died after who responded.
The cancer, the suicide, all that stuff, and there's old firefighters and police officers now that that are passing away or having a lot of health problems just because of all the toxins that they breathed in down there. And I can say that it changed my life. It did. I spent just over 3 years over there in the Middle East because of this. It changed me forever. I'll never be the same. But these guys, they have to live with that pain of the cancer or whatever they got. They have to live with that every day, and that's just bad.
The people that worked there, even in '93 when they had the bombing in the garage in the base.
Yep.
I had friends that worked there, and they were never the same. '93, then on 9/11 when it happened, they just became totally different people. You couldn't recognize them. You couldn't even talk to them that time because they were just so the PTSD just ate at them from being there and seeing this happen right where they were. And again, we all became one in the country the day after, and here we are almost a quarter of a century later, and you see how much things have changed. People still remember. They still put it on TV, but it's not the way it was on 9/12 on that year.
That's an anomaly of the last 25 years, really. What happened on 9/12 to probably almost Christmas that year. I remember coming home from Kuwait and going home on leave because I wanted to see what happened. And as we were driving up, I think it was 78, coming up there, you see the flags across all the overpasses,
Right.
all the American flags, and people were so, America, America, America. But then I come back, I think the next summer, and flags are gone, and it's, hey, F you, whatever. Who cares what's going on? Who cares what's going on?
It's back to the Jersey attitude. But yeah.
Yeah, and that's something that growing up in the Midwest, that's something that you always saw. I don't know. You always saw that patriotism. It might have got a little stronger during 9/11, but after 9/11, but the patriotism in that part of the country is just, it's unbelievable. It still is today. And it's something I'm kind of proud of. It's good. And
You see it a lot more in the Midwest and the South, of course. South, you see it a lot more. But even in the South now, you can attest to this, that there's a divide down here too now.
Oh yeah.
They're less about America. They're just here for whatever, or everything's bad to them. So this is a horrible place. But like the man we're going to talk about next said many times, people. This is a country where people can hate it all they want, but they don't want to leave.
No, I tell you what, I have seen what every continent on this planet has to offer, except for Antarctica, which that's just too cold. I'm not a fan of hanging out with penguins.
They do have them.
Yes, they do. Funny story. A friend of mine, his dad was in Vietnam. He was a Navy CB, and he gets back after his first tour to Vietnam, and they give him a choice. They said, "Hey, got 2 duty stations for you." He says, "You want to go back to Vietnam or you want to go to Antarctica?" And he goes, "I don't know." He said, "Do penguins carry AK-47s?" And they said, "No." And he goes, "I'm going to Antarctica."
Much better option.
But and I'd say another thing about 9/11 that got me was we was already committed on Fort Campbell to another deployment, and we had done some stuff for the division. I took my platoon to the division commander's office. He was going to shake our hand and give us a coin and everything. They were casing the division colors that day, and General Petraeus was like, he looked at me and he said, "Star First Class Holland," he said, "I'll see you on the ground in Iraq." And I'm like, "Sir, no, you won't." I said, "You'll have an EOD team, but it won't be us." And if you've never seen a 2-star flip his lid, he flipped his lid. But you know, it all come together, and we got there when we needed to be there. But it's definitely a change.
I know everything changed for us. Decon platoon, we were a dirty decon dozen. We were always undermanned. All of a sudden, when we got back, we got influxed with people. So
Yeah,
all of a sudden, you have everyone you need. Now
you were going to have a mission.
Yeah, now you have a real world mission. But then I got moved to another unit to go to the brigade headquarters, so it didn't matter. I was on the bench now as other units are going, and I'm like, come on, now I'm on the bench. But
get me in a fight.
Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play. And it wasn't until 2003 I got to go back and go with a purpose. And in the movie 12 Strong, about fifth group in the Horse Soldiers, they say nothing is more lethal than a person with a mission, with a reason to go fight. And everyone in my unit in 2003 that went back to Iraq had a reason. We had a reason and an urge to go fight. And it was a very lethal year, 2003 to 2004 in Ramadi.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When we ended up getting there in early 2005, it was game on. And yeah,
it's definitely having that purpose to do that really fires you up. And knowing that my whole family was right across the river, that just egged me on in 2001 when it happened, and it kept me fired up for 2003, 4, 10, 11, and 12 when being deployed. So every time I kept that in the back of my head, you try to kill my family, I'm going to kill you. So.
Exactly. You know, y'all tried to do this in my house. I ain't going to put up with it.
I'm bringing it to your
door. They didn't try. They did it in our house.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did. Hey, Rich, you see we got a question popped up in there.
Yes.
We just mentioned the person that asked that. I think we answered it already.
So Ella Uru, where were each of you on 9/11? We already answered that part. How did that day personally change your perspective on life and service? So I don't think we hit on life really, but service I think we kind of hit. Steve, you can hit the life part and the service part for that question.
Service, you know,
like service or living with purpose.
Living with purpose, maybe, but you know, we stockpile things, we brought things, we sent things over to help with you know the first responders and everything after it happened, because you know for the longest time they were digging and looking to see if they could find remains. As for I'm sorry, my perspective on life, like I said, my problem, don't know if it's mental or not. Like I said, I grew up across the street from trains, and I blocked it out. I live between two airports. I don't hear the planes. After 9/11, I hear every damn plane flying over my house. And every time I hear a plane, I gotta look and see if it's really low, if it's just taking off, and why it's so loud. Because my first thought is, oh shit, it's gonna happen again.
Here we go again. Yeah.
Yeah, and I tell a story all the time. My wife's uncles were in the Naval Academy. They made a park in South River, New Jersey for them. And the day they commemorated the park, her cousin and his general flew F-18s over it.
Wow.
What they didn't do was let anybody know they were doing it. So they did a flyby, and they did that flyby, and 5 towns lit up 9/11, calling in saying, we're being attacked. They
Wow.
landed the planes in Jersey. They drove up so we can go to the bars afterwards, so they could actually see the park. Then we went to the bars, and they still had their jumpsuits on, all the patches ripped off, and they had people cursing. Was that you that did that? I shit my pants, or I did this. And they're like, like I said, they had their suits on, the jumps, and they're like, no, we're just painters. We're just wearing this things. We were working. They had to push it to the side because they did not get permission to do flyby, but everybody had the same reaction. 2 low flying jets, 911 was lit up, crazy, as they did the flyby for the opening of the park. And that's how the mindset is now. That was a couple of years later, and it's still, like I said, 2 airports on either side of me. I still get that little jump when I hear a plane flying.
And that comes from, that's the PTS that's involved with that trauma that you guys got.
Yes.
You had to witness it and see it from afar and not be able to do anything about it.
Right.
It's like being locked in a box and watching your friend get killed in front of you, like what happened in Sons of Anarchy. You can't do anything about it, so now that trauma's in you, and you can't physically do anything, but your mind is saying, "Wah!" And now when you hear the airplane, it's oh man, here we go again. Here we go again. That box is getting closed up, and what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What we can do is you can go outside. You can go outside. You can scream at your top of your lungs and say, "I'm alive," and do what you can and build your communities. And that's what you can do as to get back at those folk.
Yes.
And for me, I mean, the sounds that Jake could tell you, when we hear things fly over our office, we usually try to figure out how many there are. So by rotor sound, we know what they are, which one it is, and then how many. While you were there, we told you to go outside, see the flyby of Apaches before you even knew there were Apaches out there. So we kind of know all that stuff. And in Ramadi, when we were in the middle of a firefight and things were hell, B-1 bomber came through and did a flyby doing subsonic, and that's the best thing in the world to ever hear. Hear that thing break the sound barrier and just see all the people that you're fighting now all of a sudden disappear. They know that the wrath is about to hit them.
Yes.
So I love the sounds of jets. I guess I'm opposite from you because I didn't get this. I didn't see that portion of it. I seen just what the good they did for us.
That, the sound of that A-10 belching all over everybody.
Yeah. The sound of freedom. You can't even pay for that anymore. So
No.
And for me, for service, I believe since I've gotten out, I've really flipped the switch on service, and I live as a servant leader kind of now, and I do my best to do things in the community as much as possible, help others. Today, Jay can tell you, I mentored about 30-something youth in Bradenton, Florida, over a Zoom call on leadership, and that fulfilled my day. And hopefully, I did something for them, and maybe they'll become the leaders that we need in our country tomorrow.
Yes. And I'm with you, Rich, doing things in the community, and I like to find little groups that need help. There's a few of them that I support, and mostly ministry groups, but, and I think that the country needs to get back to, because I don't know, needs to get back to helping one another. We don't do that like we should.
I think the biggest problem with that is all your electronics. People don't talk to each other; they talk at each other. When we're not having conversations anymore, we're sending memes, we're sending texts. The person can be sitting across the room from you, and you're sending them a text, and you're giggling like a schoolgirl. You're not getting up and you're not talking to people no more. Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, but we do it from usually the bathroom to the office.
That's what this world has become. It's
Well, actually, me and Rich do talk because a lot of times it's like, what is your brother sending us now?
Is he on his way to the hospital? And then when we don't get any for a while, we're like, what happened?
Stephen must be doing an oil change.
Did he get pulled over for texting and driving?
Having too much of a meme? What happened? We got another question here from Jim was live 45. Do you think America is more united or divided now compared to the days following September 11th? I think this is an easy softball question. Steve, hits you.
I think we're more divided now than we were back then.
Jake?
Definitely.
I definitely think we're more divided. And will you allow me to pontificate?
I'll give you the screen.
All right. When you don't have somebody to fight, you'll fight each other. And there's two people, or not two people, there's two parties in the United States right now that are vying for power. And there's a big shift going on in the United States right now. If you control people's food, you control their medicine, you control their housing, you control them and their money, you control them. And, there's a lot of people that want people to be self-sufficient. They want to go out there, get educated on their own, educate themselves on things that they can do to help themselves, make their money, educate themselves on health, eat healthy, do all this. And when you do that, this other group loses power. And so I think that they're always throwing things in there to try to divide us. And because if the people of this country band together, we're unstoppable. And they know that. And they try to keep us apart and try to divide us. And I will believe that until they put me under the dirt. Thank you. Hey.
And I agree with you there that the two parties are trying to pull us apart, and then the two parties have media wings, just like any other organization. They have media wings that are behind them, and those media wings have the people that are glued to that box.
Mm-hmm.
Every word they say, and it's their view on what is being done. So if man A listens to TV B, TV B is telling man A what to do. And if man C is watching what TV D is telling him what to do, TV D is telling me to hate man A. So I don't like you no more because you don't have the same opinion as me. So I can't even talk to you anymore. I'm going to go to my coffee shop. You go to yours. You go to your bar. I go to mine. I can't be with you no more. So it's a wild world we live in with that situation. And then, of course, the advent of social media and the internet, the interwebs. You can be internet famous in 13 seconds. As fast as you can type, you can be internet famous. And that people follow what people say on the internet, and it's gospel because it's on the internet. It has to be.
So it's real. That's why.
It's real. It's in your face all day long. So you can't get away from it. So it has to be real. And what they say is true, no matter what you look up in a book or anywhere. If you're live at the situation and they're putting something totally different, what they put is right. What you say is wrong.
I've got a person right now. I have finally got them, and I'm not going to mention this person by name, but she loves Tito's, that will actually send me stuff and say, hey, is this true or is it bullshit? And, I'll let her know.
I have a person named the Torch that always asks me those questions, and I try to bring them back to the middle somehow. And let him understand that it's not what he's seeing in the daily news or what he's seeing on whatever channel he watches all day long, and besides the cooking channel and whatever channel the soap operas are on, General Hospital, whatever channel General Hospital is on. That's what he does. ABC, yeah. So whatever he watches, that's what's feeding the mind. And You got to
Well,
let your mind explore and see other things. Read, go out and actually talk to somebody. Look them in the face and smile. Make their day.
right, but
Yeah.
you even sent that video yesterday showing the newscast about the shooting yesterday, saying, "Oh, maybe it was one of his supporters waving their gun and it accidentally went off." What the hell kind of shit was that?
That was
How do you say that live on the internet or on TV? Maybe it was one of his supporters waving the gun. Really?
and accidentally shoots him in the neck. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a interesting take on that.
And
I-
people believe it. And,
Yes.
and this is why I don't talk politics and I don't watch TV. I'd rather send memes all day. My life is a lot simpler this
But you're good at it.
way. At the memes, yeah.
You're definitely a T plus at meme sending. Those listening, T is trained, and he's a trained plus at.
T plus. T plus.
Me and Jake are on the practice level. He's at the trained level.
Oh yeah, no kidding.
We have a
I'm
lot
at
of
the,
go.
I'm at the there's something wrong with him level right
It's something. I mean, some things are down, and there's syndromes about it, but I don't know. But crazy.
Oh
my goodness.
Talk about the divide. I think that leads us right into what happened yesterday.
It does. It does. It takes us right into that. It takes us right into the things that's happened the last couple days.
Yes.
Uh,
Across, and I can go. You can go back 6 months really, and say the things
yes.
that have happened the last 6 months with the senator and her husband in Minnesota, who were killed because of political assassination, because their views changed from what the majority was thinking of, and
Mm-hmm.
didn't like that. That's what we were told. We don't know if that's the truth, of course. And then come forward, you see the young lady on the bus get killed, and no one does anything. And then yesterday, Charlie Kirk, in the middle of answering a question, gets unalived, live in
Yeah.
front of 3,000 kids and supporters and such.
And I
actions,
think
the reactions are what killed me on the internet. Both sides' reactions are insane. If we can just come to the middle and say a dude lost his life, what are we going to do
Yes.
next to make it better? And that's what
yes.
we need to do.
No, I don't want to sound ignorant, but until I heard his name yesterday, I still don't know who he was or what he did. I just heard somebody was shot. I heard he was an activist. And, okay, I never until yesterday heard that name.
He was
And
okay.
when I saw the video of them interviewing students, I was like, holy shit, this guy's on the stage talking about gun violence and talking about gang violence, and he gets killed. I'm like, that's just friggin' amazing. How the
Yes.
hell, did that
Yes.
happen? I
And
don't care right, left, up, or down, because like I said, I'm not going to talk to you. I'll sit here and listen to you two go on about that. But it just, the fact that the person was murdered while he was talking, discussing exactly what
To
he got
kids.
murdered.
Just talking to
Yeah.
kids.
Yes.
and
And the fact that nobody's talking about, wasn't there a school shooting yesterday also?
Yes, there
And
was.
nobody's talking about that at all.
I think just outside of Denver. I'm not sure the suburb or city, but
Yeah.
the shooter, I think, shot 2 classmates and then shot themselves in the parking lot or something. I think the
Mhm.
shooter is not with us anymore.
but the thing is, first of all, doing it, and they say that he was spewing hate and division. The man welcomed debate, and I've been saying this for years. Because of your social justice, okay, not your social justice warriors, but your keyboard warriors, we
Yes.
have lost the ability to sit down face to face, talk like grown-ups, and have a debate. I mean, we can do this without screaming at one another. Rich, we do it at work.
Yeah.
And it's, you have to, I don't have to like your opinion, but I got to respect it. I have to respect you giving it.
Yeah.
I may or may not agree, but and somebody said something very, very that really kind of hit me in the head here. a conservative will hate your opinion or dislike your opinion. A liberal will hate you for your opinion. And I think truly that, there was a lot of people out there that hated him for his opinion. And we got to get rid of this hate. You and I both, Rich, we've seen enough war. We've seen enough hate. We've seen what it does to young men and women, to kids. If we don't stop that, we're going to end up like that here. It's going to be 1861 all over again in this country, and it's not going to be fun. And hopefully, to God, it does not come to that. But we need to get on the same page. We need to, I'm not talking about, running around hugging everybody and everything, but, let's have some mutual respect for one another, have a dialogue, and say, yeah.
This is what I think. How do we make both of our thoughts come together to make a successful community?
Oh, that's that big word, compromise.
Yes. When I was in Afghanistan the last time, I was having an issue with another senior NCO, and Sergeant Major came in and said, "Why don't you two just sit down and have a Coke?" I said, "I don't want to sit down and have a Coke. It's too hot. And I don't want to drink Coca-Cola." He said, "I'm just not literally telling you to drink Coke. Just sit down with him and drink and have a conversation." And that's what we did. We sat, we talked, and we both wanted the same things, but different angles of approach. And in the end, we compromised, like you just said, and we both got some of the things we wanted, and we defended our cop, and we both brought our whole teams home because we were able to sit down, talk it out, and have that Coke. I wanted to drink like a non-alcoholic beer or something with him, but at the time we said Coke, so that would help us out. And I think if we just do that in our communities, if you have a difference of opinion with your neighbor, don't shoot him. I mean, that's the fucking last thing you should do.
Yes.
Sit on the porch and talk the shit out. Maybe yell at each other, and then tomorrow have a barbecue. Remember?
Exactly. I was going to say, I go and they're all high this and high that, and I just drink my beer and I shake my head and let them get it out of their system, and I move on with my day. I'm not going to argue with them saying you're an idiot for liking this or you're an idiot for liking that. I'm going to just shake my head and agree and okay, all right, and just move on with life, because otherwise you don't have friends. You can't sit there and say, I hate you because you're this, I hate you because you're that. I hate everybody, but I'm going to let you talk. I'm going to let you get it out of your system, and I'm not going to argue with you about it. I don't believe what you're saying. I'm not going to say, all right, you're an asshole, whatever, and just walk out on it and say, okay, get it out of your system. I'm going to go on with my day.
Shake it off. Yeah.
Take it back to the old days when we was in school, back when nobody had a gun. You had I had a guy that lived down the road from me. We were a year apart in school. We used to wear one another out. And one day I had a belly full of it, and I said, come on. And he says, all right, let's go. We had it out, and now I can call that guy for anything. If I need something, but after that, we were inseparable. We shouldn't have used our fists to hammer everything out, but we did, and we ended up figuring out, hey, we can get along, but and now we talk things out because that stuff hurts too bad anymore.
Well, but back when Richie and I were growing up in Jersey City, we had problems with friends. We'd fight all the time. After a while, what they did was took us down the street to the Lawrence's house. They set up a ring, they put gloves on you, and you worked it out of your system. The next day, you were outside playing. But they put you in a ring and said, get it out of your system. It's done. Move on.
Yeah.
And that's what we did.
And and we shouldn't perceive, or anybody in this country should not perceive another American as the enemy. We're both on the same side. We both want three things. Okay. We want, life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness. That's what we want. Once we figure out, hey, we both want the same things. Let's figure out how we can both get this. And start small, start in your communities, hold a block party, invite that neighbor that nobody likes.
Yes.
And, let's have some peace in this country.
And if you just think about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, to go to that psychology kind of thing for you guys, I know you like me when I speak big words and such, but you have physiological needs, you have safety needs, love and belonging, self-esteem, and self-actualization. The first three are the ones everyone wants. Everyone wants physiological needs, which is air, water, food, shelter, sleep, etc. Personal security, employment, financial, keep you friendships and intimacy. Let's work on those things. Let's work about that stuff. Make sure you have those basic human needs. And then you want to fight somebody, there's plenty of jiu-jitsu gyms around everywhere now.
Yeah.
Go roll around for a while. You'll get tired. 3 minutes, you'll be tired. And then you'll say, let's go talk this out because I can't do this no more. So I'm going to have a heart attack. Because most people are behind that keyboard all day. And if they go outside, something bad will happen to them anyway, because the air will hurt them in their lungs and such. But go outside every day, move your body, talk to you. Put down the phone for 10 minutes a day, if that's what it takes. Take an ice plunge every day. Yeah, it's not fun at first. It's not really that much fun during it, but you get used to it and your body feels a lot better and it wakes you up pretty dang quick. I suggest you all do that every morning.
And, I've started making it a habit now. An unsolicited smile to somebody, an unsolicited hello, a please, a thank you. Those clerks in stores, they wear name tags for a reason. When they wait on you, call them by their name. Show them that you see them. And little things like that go miles and miles.
And doing that, you'll notice that some of them forget that that's their name. And you say, thank you, Jimmy.
Hey, how'd you know my name?
How'd you know my name? Oh, crap. Yes.
And
by you, it's tattooed on their forehead, though, because they forget their name.
and you've just broken the ice and started an interaction with a person.
And you may have just made that person's day. On here, that could be that catalyst that gets them out of it.
Not like some people we know, this bar sucks, you need to get some taller stools in here and this beer's half warm.
Yeah, that guy. Yes. And sometimes smile and wave and send memes to each other.
Yeah, but that place they put in the taller tables for him, didn't they? Isn't that what you said?
They did.
Oh, so this is not the first time you've heard this story.
No.
Got to have them. Yeah. But I think moving forward, to keep the legacy of the conversation alive, we need to go out and interact with our neighbors. We need to get out and interact with our communities. If you're so worried about what's going on in Washington, D.C., move there. Move to Washington, D.C. Become a politician. If that's what you want to do, you want to shave your head because your hair is falling out because you're so stressed every day where your money's going to come from, who's going to pay you to say something for them, go to D.C. and worry about that. Until that time, I challenge you to clean your community, clean your own house, clean your block, and then move forward. You'll see more wins there than you'll ever see at 1600 Pennsylvania.
Affect the changes you can affect.
And for God's sake, Facebook and Instagram do not fix your problems. I'm on groups. Rich, you're on groups with your people in your area. I'm on groups with people here in Bloomfield, and it's, oh, I have potholes. Oh, I have this and I have this problem. And what are they going to do? And I look at them and say, well, go to a council meeting and talk to your councilman and find out what they can do. Facebook isn't going to fix it. Facebook is not Jesus Christ. He's not going to say, ooh, let's turn this into this. No, get out of your house, talk to somebody, and see if you can fix the problem. Internet's not going to fix your problem. We're sitting here, we're talking, this is great, but we're not fixing the world. Maybe somebody's listening, but it's not going to answer every question. You got to get out and you got to talk to people.
There's a whole bunch of people on Twitter right now listening to us. I wish they would come to YouTube so we can actually interact with them. I can't see what they're saying on Twitter right now. So if you come to YouTube, and that's at @the_MisFitNation on YouTube, we can interact with you. So I'm sure that everyone that's on Twitter right now could really jump in on this conversation.
Oh, I'm sure they could. I'm sure they could. That's like, I'm surprised that I'm
Yeah,
surprised.
see, I still can't comment on YouTube. Anyway,
I'm surprised our phone number's not up there.
I forgot to put it up, actually. Yeah. Since it was free, let's put it up. Good call.
oh, Jake wants you to put his phone number up there so they can call him personally.
Same phone.
No, I'm not going to do that.
There you go.
There it is. Yeah. Hey, folks, if you'd like to call in, call us at 202-813-9379. And we'll get you on it. Tell us what you think about, division in this country, some of the hate that's going on in this country, how we can fix it. And like Rich and Stephen both said, fix it on a local level. Affect the change that you can affect. I talked to a guy the other day. Just yesterday, I saw him. I used to interact with him quite a bit before I left an organization that I was in. And I said, "What are you doing now, man?" And he's running a Christian-based recovery center in Princeton, Kentucky. He started a jail ministry. And I'm like, "That's you?" Because I knew it was there. And he goes, "Yeah, man, that's me." And I'm like, right on. And he is not the person that I was seeing doing that, but he's affecting change in his community. And, it's those little things that we do.
Definitely. It's the little things that mean the most. I don't know. Across the bottom right now, you see 2 hard things. Nothing we're saying is that extremely hard you have to do. It's little tweaks to make your community better, to make you feel better every day. But one thing that Charlie was big on, Jake is big on, we've had a lot of guests in the recent past that are big on, is faith. You got to have faith in order to make things work. You may not be the biggest believer in anything higher than a higher being, but there's something you believe in. Something makes things happen. Have faith and find your way through faith and find your purpose in life. And if your purpose in life is to make things better, I'm sure your neighbor wants to make things better too. Get together, talk to each other, and make those changes.
Yes. And I'll expand on that a little bit, Rich. Faith is the cornerstone of my life. God's going to take care of it. And if he don't want me where I'm at right now, he'll tell me. He will lead me and tell me where I need to go. And, that's like your epiphany that you had a few months ago. Yep. More than a few months now. Look at that.
Almost 8.
Congratulations. And you know what? Just to support you, I basically did the same thing. And brother, I got to tell you, I feel better.
Yes.
I feel 100% better. My body feels better. My mind feels better. And yeah.
I mean, you're still doing those other bodily functions that you used to do, but I mean, at a lesser scale, I think, though. You're not running in anymore. It's kind of a slow jog.
Oh, well, yeah. But,
just so everyone knows.
Those are deviled egg incidences. Those are.
When you eat as many pickled eggs as I do, that happens.
A whole tray of deviled eggs on top of them. It doesn't help anyone or anyone in the office.
I haven't had a good pickled egg in a while.
I got some pretty good pickled eggs.
All right, Stephen, I'll give you your final thoughts.
I don't have any final thoughts.
You have to.
I think that it's amazing that we just sat here for 59 minutes and just had general conversation, the 3 of us together. And I enjoyed the fact that we could do that and have people listen to us do that. Yes. We're not screaming, we're not crying. We are just talking like men having conversations, giving our thoughts and feelings. And I'm doing that.
Men. Oh,
Well, I've been trying to get the George Michael's "You Gotta Have Faith" out of my head for 5 minutes. I was just going to start it down. And so yeah, it's one or the other.
and Jake, get your final thoughts.
First of all, I want to thank everybody that come in and joined us tonight. We love you. Without you, we wouldn't be here doing this. And like I always say, if you're out there, you're feeling the darkness, punch in that 988. If you're a veteran, hit option 1. If you don't want to talk to them, email one of us, send your phone number. We'll call you. We'll talk. And tomorrow's going to be too beautiful of a day for you not to be in it. And I love each and every one of you.
Amen. Thank you, boy. Thank you, Tuesday crew, for joining the Misfit Nation tonight and hanging out with us. And as we leave, I'll leave you with my final thoughts. Tonight, we've talked back through the memories of September 11th, a day that forever changed our nation and each of us. We remember the lives lost, the heroes who stepped forward, and the resilience that America carried through its darkest hour. We also reflected on the sudden heartbreaking loss of Charlie Kirk. Whether you agreed with his views or not, there's no denying the passion and impact he made in shaping conversations about our nation's future. His voice may be silenced, but his influence and ideas will carry on through those he inspired. As we leave you tonight, let us carry forward the lessons of both 9/11 and the legacy of Charlie Kirk. That freedom is fragile, that unity is powerful, and that each of us has a role to play in shaping a better tomorrow. Never forget where we've been, never take for granted where we are, and never stop working towards where we can go together. Thank you for joining us on this special edition of the Misfit Nation Show. Until next time, stay resilient, stay united, and of course, stay Misfit strong.
Thanks for checking us out and being a part of the Misfit Nation Show. Don't forget to visit our website at themisfitnation.com. That's themisfitnation.com. Check out all our past episodes and get some of the great Misfit Nation gear for you and your family. As always, be humble, stay hungry, and keep hustling because we are
Misfit Nation. Misfit